Well, for me, my concern is that if we, a couple, are we going to fill it all with cars, or are there other options? Is there a possibility of the gentleman who talked earlier about, could someone come in and do some of this with car dealerships, and something else could be offices, could be restaurants, could be other things like that. But if we say, we're only going to limit you to this area if you want auto dealers, as opposed to letting them be creative in how they lay that out, I become more concerned about the limitations we might put on a potential client. So I would be wanting to allow them some flexibility there to do that in a way that it creates opportunity for restaurants, retail, could be auto dealerships, could be a number of different things. And I would have to hope that if we do this and a larger auto dealer is coming in, they're coming in with the understanding that we expect specific guidelines and a way of doing this so that it's attractive. It doesn't take away from the character of our community. And so I think we've got to give them the flexibility that they need if we're going to go down this route. So,
and Mayor, I want to follow on because Councilmember Martinez-Beltran asked me a question earlier, and I said I hadn't had time to think about it because it's the first time I heard the question. But I think there is an opportunity if the council moves forward to propose design guidelines that would alleviate some of the concerns about 29 acres of just auto dealers, because and I think that might be a way to alleviate the concerns I've heard from both Councilmember Beltran and Councilmember Libers about, we don't want a 29 acre.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a note I've got here too about including in the motion to direct staff to develop design guidelines for vehicle-related uses.
So we could technically, in the design, limit the number that come in to that 29 acres.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, 2 auto dealers or 3 auto dealers, but I think it's easy to say how we want that designed so that we don't end up with, because I think nobody wants to see a sea of parking lots. That's not right. That's not the type of design that Morgan Hill would be interested in. None of us are interested in that.
Okay.
And so I think if you were to give staff an opportunity to come up with design guidelines, work with the community on developing what those are, I think we would be able to do that in a way that addresses those concerns.
Okay, so to follow up on that, so we would then go ahead and vote for this, and how would we assure that the staff would then have, I don't want to use the word restrictions, but guidelines.
Yeah, I think that would be the direction that you would give, and I think the note that the mayor just read is the start of what you'd ask for, is give us the direction of to come back, work with the community on developing.
Okay, but it wouldn't be a motion or anything like that.
It could be part of the motion when you decide, if you move forward with adopting the ordinance tonight, then you could put that as part of the conditions.
Part of what we'd have to do is make a substitute motion if we wanted to, or vote on that and then make another motion, or do a substitute motion.
Okay, that I can go with. Okay.
So could Dawn,
Microphone?
motion.
Microphone.
Mike.
Dawn, could you phrase a substitute motion for the council member?
I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I did hear the mayor start to say what he was thinking.
Oh, so if I were to do a substitute motion, it would be we have to take these one at a time.
So I think any conditions you want to put on the approval would go in that first item where you're waiving the first and second reading. So it would waive the first and second reading and direct staff.
Okay, so but I still got, this has to be a substitute motion.
Yes.
So I would make a substitute motion to waive first and second reading of the ordinance amendment and direct staff to develop design guidelines for vehicle-related uses.
And to introduce the ordinance amendment.
That's not yet.
That's a second
Yes.
motion, right?
But I think
Okay.
if you're making, does that
That is my substitute motion.
And I'll second that.
So we have a second. So we'll vote on that. If that fails, then we go to, Councilmember Beltran.
Yeah, Mayor, so I'm not able to support the substitute motion. I had asked that much earlier. We've spent at least over an hour having a conversation on this, and I think if that is the case, then we leave the text amendment as it is, and when it's not at the end of the meeting in the last minute before we're voting, we have the person who's interested in developing this site come back, Trammell Crow come back, staff come back, but I don't think at this point, I'm not able to support something last minute like this. We're just gonna, now we'll, everything, we can work it out right here and staff will do it. This to me feels like a very big conversation, and this isn't the first rodeo, and I can't support doing that. I would support us not moving forward, leaving the text amendment as it is. Let's have some discussion on everything that's been said. We've heard lots from the community, we've heard lots from staff, we've heard lots from the council members, and then come back and hopefully we will get somebody to come and tell us what it is that they want to do.
I understand. So we have a motion, and there's a second. There's a substitute motion, and there's a second.
Comment on that.
I do want to say one thing. At the time, though, our city attorney did not have that answer for us. He admitted he did not know it. Now he has come back with actual legal jargon that it is allowed. So that changes my opinion, so.